We are the Guinea Pig Collective. All will be assimilated. Resistance is futile.
Hey everybody, what's going on, and welcome back to another Toys from the Past. So today we will be talking about the 1975 Universal Pictures based game, The Game of Jaws. So very similar to a lot of other games of skill that were put out around this time. 2 to 4, or 1 if you were desperate, attempted to remove various pieces of flotsam and jetsam from the shark's mouth with a plastic hook device a bit like a dental tool. However, beware, because if you are not careful, the mouth will slam shut and you will not get as many pieces as your friends. And of course, the winner is the one who has the most pieces at the end of the game. Obviously, every time the mouth shuts, it will be the other player's turn. So you want to try to carefully pick out those pieces without incurring the wrath of Jaws. This was a big win for Ideal, getting the rights to Universal's mega hit and being able to create a game off of that franchise, which actually made them quite a bit of money. Now, unfortunately, this game by today's standards seems a bit cheesy and outdated, well, because it was, but it was still fun regardless. I myself had this game and actually had a lot of fun with it when I was a kid. Sometimes, as they say, less is more. It was, however, a very simply made game, and the rubber bands which actually caused his mouth to clamp shut would wear out and you would have periodically replace the bands, if you could find ones the same size. The junk items that were included that you would have to pick from the shark's mouth included part of a ship's wheel, the offensive gun, an anchor, a handbag, some rope, a thigh bone, a fish skeleton, sometimes a skull, a camera, a lantern, a boot, a glove, and a walkie-talkie. Different objects were interchangeable in the various incarnations of the game, so sometimes they were actually all blue, sometimes they were yellow, sometimes they were blue and yellow, but there were always a few items like the bone, the skull, and the fish. They were always white. The original game was actually released much later on over the years as Sharky's Diner, and it was basically the same as the original game, except maybe the shark was a different color, or maybe there was more pieces of plastic junk and maybe an extra gaff hook. Other than that, it remained unchanged throughout all these years. And while having nothing to do at all with the game, much later on in 2001, McFarlane Toys released Movie Maniacs Jaws box set. Now this came with Jaws partly out of the water attacking the back end of the Orca ship with a Quint figure who was torn in half where you could actually piece back together. This was actually a pretty gory set, and it was just a really cool diorama piece to be able to have if you could get it. And in case none of you have ever heard of Reaction, they actually make 3 3/4 inch figures, much like the old Kenner figures from Star Wars. Reaction is part of Funko, and in 2019 they released Jaws figures, Chief Brody, Matt Hooper, Quint, and Jaws. And there was also a Jaws with Quint in 2015 from the San Diego Comic-Con. Anyway, guys, that's all I have on this one. Do you remember that old game? Maybe you remember some of the figures that came out much later on. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And of course, as always, if you've enjoyed what you heard and what you've seen, go ahead and destroy that like button for me. And if you are new to the channel, welcome. I'm glad that you are here, and I hope that you will consider subscribing. And I will catch you all next time. Later, y'all.